Okay, I think we are live. Welcome everybody, welcome. How's everyone doing? You all okay? So, yes, I'm here. It's been a heck of a morning because I've been filming all of your requests from yesterday, and I've also filmed a video already today. I haven't edited it yet, but I filmed it. I've decided that this week, just because I know some people are going to be stuck at home without anything to do and sometimes without anybody to talk to, I'm going to do my best to make sure there is something from me for you to watch every day this week. So, I could end up not doing that because something goes wrong or whatever, but as far as I can, I will try and do that. So today and tomorrow, are the cameras working? Yeah, they are, that's good. Today and tomorrow we're going to do servicing streams. Wednesday we have normal video as usual, and then Thursday and Friday I've got some locos which I've not showed you yet, which I'm going to try to restore. So I'll try and do those Thursday, Friday. Today though, as I say, we're going to do some requests catch up. Thank you so much to all the supporters from yesterday, and I've seen some already. I think it was Ronan today. Thank you so much, Ronan, for that. So I have been sorting out all of the requests, and here they come right now. I hope you enjoy them. As soon as these are done, we will get on with the servicing. So first things first, a very, very happy birthday to Liam Butler, who is 7 today. Liam, I'm so sorry that all this is kicking off while it's your birthday, but no doubt you'll be able to celebrate more properly after this is all over. Hope you have a really, really good day. Apparently you're going to be trying out DCC for the first time on your Flying Scotsman and other engines, so good luck with that, and as I say, have a lovely day. So this first request anyway is for me, who wanted to see the J36 Maud hauling some clerestories. So thanks so much for the support, me, and sorry that it didn't get done during the stream, but there it is now for you. The next one is from Sparky129 Games. Thank you very much, Sparky. You wanted to see the 08 Shunter and another slow running loco, so I'll pick the Sentinel for you. Double heading, a train of open wagons, as you can see, and a pillbox brake van. And if you just hang on a sec, there is the brake van. So thanks very much, Sparky. Really appreciate your support. And man, I knew that 08 was slow, but I'd forgotten it was that slow. That's at half speed. It's a really nice slow runner, that one. Very realistic, of course, because the 08s were pretty slow in real life. Top speed of less than 20 miles an hour, I believe. Quite crazy. So cheers for that one, Sparky. Appreciate you. Next up, Leon RW wanted to see the Class 73 with some blue coaches. So Leon, thank you very much to you. Hopefully that's what you wanted to see. So this one is for Roland's Railways, who wanted the TTS vent van and a loco of my choice. So I kept Maud on since she's DCC, and we've got the sheep wagon there making the noises. So thank you, Ronan, very much for that. I'm fairly sure that's what we all wanted to see to make us feel better. Appreciate it though, Ronan, thank you very much. This next one is a lovely one from William Babcock, who wanted to see the IVAC Class 2, some open wagons, which I've done, and also a brake van. So William, thank you so much for your support. Hope you like seeing that. And William, you'll be glad to hear that I've silenced the sheep for your request. Well, I've not done anything to them, I've just told them to shut up, basically. Next up, Thomas the Tank Dank wanted to see the P2 with some teaks, so I always love to run the P2. So Thomas the Tank Dank, love your username and love your request. Thanks so much for your support. So, the TTS van strikes again, this time from European Diecast Racing, who wanted to see the green 47 plus the TTS van playing green sleeves. So I will oblige, and I apologise to anyone who is having their ears assaulted by that. So thank you very, very much to you, European Diecast Racing. Next up, the Duke of Rawsome wanted to see the N7 with some tanker wagons, which I think is a Rawsome idea. So thanks very much, Duke. Appreciate the support and hope you like seeing your request. And the N7 definitely has been a very popular loco over this series. And I believe that is the last time in Series 8 we'll be seeing the N7. So cheers, Duke. Really appreciate your support, as I keep saying, but I want to ram it home, that I really do. So cheers, Duke, appreciate you. Next up, Dancing Turtle 96 wanted to see the Hornby Gordon, 2 teaks, some egg vans, and the Backman Toad. So there you go, Dancing Turtle, hopefully that's what you asked for. And it's nice to see the old Hornby Gordon back in business, isn't it? Yeah, I've not run him for a little while, but he's still good and happy, as you can see. Nice runner. There we go, and that 47 is still going hell for leather in the background. Quite a good run of that one, actually. So next up, a huge shout out and thank you to UniKitKat. I'm so sorry I didn't see your message during the stream, but you asked me to shout out your dad, Castle Junction. So shout out to you, Castle Junction, hope you're all doing okay. And once again, thank you, UniKitKat, for your very kind donation. Really appreciate it. And this request is for Harry Chapman. Thank you very much, Harry, who wanted to see a Patriot on a fast mail train. Now, my Bachmann Patriot doesn't really like going fast. It's got a slightly dodgy motor, so I've gone as fast as I dare, but hopefully that counts for you. Next up, huge thanks to Marcus Junction, who wanted to see a Class 66 with many freight wagons. So I've put some on, some of the old favourites, ocean wagons and tankers. Thank you very much, Marcus Junction. Really, really appreciate it. As you can see, the Bachmann 66 looking very good there. And the Patriot with its mail train has now sped up quite a lot. Insanely, in fact. Crikey. This next one is from Theo, I think Theo Wood. So thanks very much, Theo. You wanted to see the modern 2800 class with some mixed freight. So we've got box vans on there, as you requested, and then some open wagons. So thank you so much for the support, Theo. Really glad you like the channel, and I appreciate your contribution. Thank you very much. There it goes. Beautiful choice of loco, that one. Really good runner. Pretty powerful as well. So cheers, Theo. Hope you like seeing that one, and a very, very good choice, as I say. And the Great Western Toad on the back. Next up then, a huge thank you to Gareth Waite, who wanted to see the O-Gauge Terrier, and a big thank you to your son as well, and a hello. So there we go, on the new stretch of track, of course. So you've got an exclusive view of that. So Gareth, really do appreciate your support. I know you've been a long time supporter, so thank you very much. Got a fair bit of junk about on the O-Gauge stuff at the moment, because I've been working on it, but it is in running order, as you can tell. And I do love the O-Gauge Terrier, really do. So, Mandalore the Mad, thank you very much to you. You wanted to see me double head 2 moguls of my choice, so I did that. We've got the LNER and LMS moguls there. And you also wanted to see some strange rolling stock, so I've chosen what I consider to be a pretty strange combination of rolling stock. So, Mandalore the Mad, thank you very much for you. Hope you enjoyed seeing that. So Ronan's Railways wanted to see my largest steamer, which is technically the Garrett, but I didn't want to do this with that, going HST style with my largest electric, which I think is probably that one. So there we go, Ronan's Railways. Hope you like that, and thank you, as always, for the support. The daylight tender seems to be staying on the track now, which is nice. So cool idea, Ronan. Thank you very much. This next one is for Drift King 350Z3 LOL, who wanted to see the Terrier and the T9 double heading. So I've done that. Thank you very much, Drift King. As always, appreciate your support. The Terrier's just cut out on me. Oops, we're okay. And what a nice looking double header that is as well. So thank you very, very much. I love the opportunity to do that one. And they've got some goods, as you can tell as well. Finally then, a request from Kelly Ashford, which I think was designed to send a shiver down the spine of anyone that sees it. We have the Cross Black Terrier, who's going to be chasing Whitechapel. So, on your marks, get set, go. You know what, I think this is going to be really easily done. Seems the new Hornby Terrier is quite a lot faster than the old one. Oh yes. Well, there we go, Kelly. The Black Terrier, BR Black, is going to be... Oh! It's derailed her, derailed poor Whitechapel. Oh dear. Not a happy ending there, I'm afraid. Well, thank you, Kelly, for that. I think you got your wish. It was a disaster. And that is the end. Thank you so much to everyone who donated, and I'm sorry for those of you who had to wait. Alright, let's get back to servicing. Alright folks, thank you so much for all of those, I really do appreciate them, and thank you also to Robert Osborne. I'm not doing any requests today, they were all left over from yesterday, but Robert, I won't forget it, I'll make a note of that after this, and then in a future series I will do that for you for sure. Let's see if I can black out one corner of the screen so we can see the chat. So welcome to everyone who has just joined. I'm not doing a very good job of this. I hope you're all having a good day. If you missed the little intro I did, I'm going to do my best to put up a bit of content every day this week for those of you who obviously are stuck at home with nothing else to do. So, you know, if you need to interact with another human being or a lot of other human beings that are in the chat, feel free to pop in any day this week and there will be something for you, whether it's a live stream or some servicing, or whether it's some sort of video that might be happening on Wednesday without dropping any hints there, or whether it's some restorations I'm doing. I'm going to try and restore some locos Thursday, Friday for you live, so hopefully that will be a lot of fun. Anyway, welcome. I think Sam Haslam wanted a shout out. Before we get on with the actual servicing, this is the first loco I'm going to be doing, a Ginty, one of my favourite Triang locos. What a livery that is. I'll tell you the story of how I got that when we get started. But let's do some of those shout outs then. Zipping Cruisers, Daniel Annett, I hope you're staying safe as well, Daniel, thank you very much. Matt Phillips says woo woo woo. Ninja Go Fan 3 says please say my name. Say my name. DJ Khaled in the chat, everybody. Quack Cack, oh yes, it's Ugly Duckman's birthday, by the way. Everyone say happy birthday to Ugly Duckman, who reaps what he sows. Can I please have a shout out, Zipping Cruisers? Yes, of course you can. Kieran Averill, it's his birthday today. You see, you can't ever trust people now when they say it's their birthday. You never know whether it's true. Marcus is here. Hello, Marcus Hornerus. That sounds like a strange Roman name, doesn't it? Nuclear MOT, if next series I donate 15 puns, will I get 3 requests? Yeah, you can, but I would make them separately, otherwise I might miss them. But thank you very much, that would be very kind of you. Thank you, there you go, no problem, Ninja Go. Oh, and Gareth, hello, nice to see you. Thanks very much for that, Gareth. Well, the first servicing thing I'm going to be doing is this Triang, but we've got all sorts of locos today, including some Wren ones. I know some people were asking whether I would service some Wren stuff, and I'm going to do that at some point today, so hopefully you'll like that. But first things first, oh there you go Gareth, you got your little pop-up there. Yeah, first things first, I'm going to try and do this Ginty, and I need to fix my camera angle really, don't I? Because you're not going to be able to see anything at that rate. So, we'll get started on the Ginty, and I will tell you a little bit about where I got it from, and yeah, what I've done with it since. So, this came all the way from Scotland. I was on holiday in Scotland a couple of years ago now, and it's a place called Callander in the Trossachs, and in Callander there's not an awful lot. It's quite a reasonably big town for the area, but there's not an awful lot there. But what there is this really awesome toy museum, and it's really, really good. If you're ever in the sort of, I don't know, Trossachs area, I would definitely recommend going, because there was so much cool stuff there, lots of old Triang locos, all in mint condition, and they were selling some stuff, and I happened to notice that they had this really unusual Ginty in this livery, which at the time I hadn't seen before, and the guy charged me 25 quid, I think it was, for it, and at the time I thought that was absolutely fine. The motor, it turned out, had failed, I think, but because they all use this same standard motor, I was able to, I think, replace it. I can't remember 100%. I might have been able to repair it, or I might have had to just replace it. I can't remember now, but yeah, it was fixable, although I might have to rewire that back on, because that's come off, as you can see, but it's all right for now. And so yeah, that was the story, all the way from Scotland this one came, which is odd. I mean, if it had been like if I'd bought a Caledonian single or something from Scotland, that would have been super duper awesome. I would have loved that, but no, it's not bad, is it? It's not bad. And I seem to remember it was a really, really good runner, so let's try and do this. So if you were here on Friday's stream, shout out to everyone who was here on Friday, you might be familiar with these motors now, if you weren't already familiar, of course. So it's the same drill, just try and get this cleaned up. Like I say, I've not had this loco for that long, and it would have had a proper good service when it first came into my collection. So hopefully this is just going to be a bit of a top up. We'll check, see how the motor's looking. Hopefully the commutator will come up nice and clean. And yeah, it doesn't seem to be too bad. It's not, I don't know if I would have scaled this one or not with the Dremel, because it looks reasonably, in fact this is a good comparison. I don't think this one's been scaled. So you can see, look, even though I'm scrubbing it, and I will keep scrubbing it, you can see that it's not coming up as shiny as the ones were on Friday, which I believe had been scaled. Well, it said in my servicing book that I had scaled them. It doesn't say that in the book for this one, so I don't think I did do this one. They still tend to run just fine. Maybe I'm a bit over the top for doing the whole scaling thing, but yeah, you know what? These models, I love them, and I'll do everything I possibly can to get them running good, so that's why I do it. For some reason, I didn't do this one, and I thought about maybe a second ago doing it on stream, but it's quite noisy, and I know some people are doing this to relax, and if I start ramping up power tools, yeah, it might put a stop to that. So I won't do that for everyone's sanity, but you can do it if you feel you want to go the extra mile and service some Triang stuff. So there we go, that's the motor going back together nicely. Yeah, it's nice and free running. I haven't even oiled it yet, but let's do that. Anyway, thank you all so much for your support during yesterday's live show. That was absolutely crazy. I was up there an hour after we'd finished streaming, just cleaning up the mess. Locos everywhere. This morning I was filming all those requests and stuff. That took several hours. And of course, I'm sorry for pre-recording them and not running them live, but you actually get better quality shots when they're not live, because yeah, I'm free camera. I can use my proper camera for all the shots. So yes, hopefully everyone's happy with that. How's it going in the chat? Oh, Trace Pierce, thanks so much. 2 days of streams. Sam, you're killing it, friend. Thank you. No problem, Trace. It's my pleasure. It's the least I can do when people are stuck inside. In fact, you're going to get more than 3 days, 2 days of streams. I'm going to do one tomorrow, if possible. And then Wednesday, you've got the normal video. And then, as I've already said, Thursday, Friday, I'm going to try and do some restorations. So, yeah, hopefully it'll be a good week. We'll see how it goes. And there we go, Trace. You got your little pop-up there. Thank you very much. You don't have to send me donations today, folks. Well, you never do. You never do have to. But I'm not expecting any. This is just for you guys to enjoy. But I do appreciate it. I mean, any support is much appreciated. But please don't anybody feel they have to. Just sit back and enjoy. And if you've got any questions, I will do a few sections where I look at the chat and see what you guys have got to say. So, yes, stay tuned for that. Right, let's do this. I think I'm making fair progress with this. It's not taking too terribly long. Bit of oil on the main gear. Oh, actually, there's some guff, it looks like, stuck around the centre axle. I don't know if you can see it. It's actually kind of disgusting. I don't know if you want to see it. It ain't my hair. It doesn't look like mine. It looks like it's been there many years. And there's too much for it to have been from me, because I haven't run this that much. See if I can get it. So what I'm doing is I'm just trying to agitate it with the needle, and then when it's all sticking out, I'll grab it with the tweezers. But as you can see, it's coming out. Nasty. I don't like thinking who this could be from. It looks blonde, actually. At least it ain't me, that's for sure. Unless it's been bleached blonde by the lubricant or something. I don't know. I don't really want to think about it, actually. It's very much a vile thing to have to do. Yeah, this is the one thing with second-hand locos, isn't it? Nasty. Okay. Well, the good thing is I've got IPA, so that's one thing. I can clean my fingers with that. The other thing is, obviously, it ain't going to be carrying any diseases, because I've had this for quite a long time. So hopefully I won't get irreparably ill from having touched that. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think there was any danger of that. Right, I can see a tiny bit more. Oh, this must have escaped my notice when I initially did this. I think we're there. We got it all? No, there's still a bit more. There we go. Right, it's gone. Anybody? Gross, says Gabriel Pro. It's the hamster's hair, says King. Only if the hamster had really long hair. I don't think our hamster's got that long hair. Tell you what happened with our hamster the other day. We gave him some sugar. Well, it wasn't sugar. That would have been cruel. Basically, when we're eating, he comes out of his little house and literally climbs up the bars trying to get our attention. So I just gave him a little bit of icing off a cake I was having, like a tiny bit, obviously, because you don't want to be giving hamsters proper human food, but just because he likes a little bit of something sweet. And my God, it sent him insane. He was upside down, hanging off the bars of his cage, walking upside down along the top of his cage, trying to get to this plate that was on top. It sent the dude mad. So yeah, don't give your hamsters anything sugary. It was very entertaining though. I wish I'd have filmed it, but no. Right, I think we're sufficiently defluffed. That's the first time I think I've ever shown any fluff on a loco of mine on a stream. But like I say, I can't prove it, but I don't believe that came from me. I'm not blonde, as you may know. Anyway, how's everyone doing? Oh, okay. Drift King sent me some facts on the T9. That's awesome. Thank you. Upon demand, says Marcus Hung. Ah, excellent, excellent. Thank you. Turbo Hamster, says Lord Huffington. Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, it really was like a sugar high. It was unbelievable to see. And then he slept for about, I don't know, I'll have to ask Jess how long, but he must have slept for a very long time, longer than usual. And when he did eventually emerge, he looked incredibly tired, as if he'd just had a really long and exhausting night out. So it was very amusing, to say the least. Right, I've just noticed the little capacitor here has sheared off. Now, I bought some capacitors. Ah, yes, I did, and I know where they are. I was going to say I bought some they're like TV suppression type capacitors. 50 volt ones. I couldn't remember where I put them, but I think I can remember. So I'm just going to go and have a look, and hopefully I'll be able to put them in, and that will be that. Yes, I've got some here. I wasn't 100% sure what value to get, so I got the highest value I could. I don't know if it says on them now. The voltage was fine. There was 50 volt, I think, something like that. Well, it could have been 25. And what are they? 683. So could that be 600 microfarad? I'm not sure. But we'll put that on, and if it blows up, then we'll know that it isn't a suitable value. If it works, then hooray, that's not so bad. Cool. So let's prepare some of these pieces. We've got to do a little bit of fiddly soldering now, but hopefully it'll be okay. Let's get the helping hand just to offer a helping hand, I guess. Okay, we'll get the old wire off, hopefully. That'll be the first thing. Let's make sure this is all in shot for you. There we go. And I think this will be the first time I'm trying out one of these new caps. So we'll see. Try not to burn my fingers off. That wouldn't be good. Or maybe it would. Maybe it would go viral if I did that. Let's try it. No, I'm kidding. Or am I? Yes. Right, there we go. That's gone. Now, is it too hot to touch now? Yes, I think so. Let's just try and get some fresh solder on there then. Okay, and let's tin up. Well, let's get the old one off. Can you see this? Get the old cap off. The good news is the new cap I'm putting on is slightly bigger, so hopefully that means we're upgrading rather than downgrading it. The capacitors basically reduce the amount of arcing that the motor produces, and I think that reduces the back EMF a little bit as well. Oh no, it doesn't. No, it just absorbs some of the sparking and arcing, I think. I don't 100% understand it, and I'm making a bit of a hash of this, and it's hot and burning me, but we'll be all right. But yeah, you want them really, because it helps to keep the motors clean essentially. There we go. Ow! Yeah, thumb was a bit too close to that one, I reckon. I think we're okay. Okay, so let's tin up the ends of the cap. Ah, this one was nice and quick as well. I was going to wash my hands of this one really quick. Obviously not. Never mind. Right, where are we? There it is. Right, so a bit of solder on each of the legs. I'm not going to trim the legs down too much, because if I've got plenty of leg, well, we all like that. But yeah, if I've got plenty, I can sort of bend them around and manipulate them and fit it into the right spot. Everything I say at the moment sounds really, really wrong. I'm not meaning it to. Right. Okay, so we're going to fix it onto... I don't think... Yeah, no, these ceramic capacitors, they're not polarised, are they? So we can put either leg on either end. Again, if that proves not to be the case, it'll probably blow up, and then I'll find that out the hard way. Yeah, that is not the best bit of soldering I've ever done. I'm sorry you had to watch that. No, we're okay. I think this will work. This is more just a proof of concept. I'll tidy it up perhaps if it works. But yeah, I just want to find out whether it actually performs as it's supposed to. Although I don't know if you'll notice much difference. It's more over time. The sparking should reduce. Oh, I moved it too soon. Okay, we got it. Okay, so the capacitor's in parallel with the motor, basically. Adam Rushton, this is a Triang/Hornby Ginty, the old kind. You see, all the Gintys they sell today are retooled. This is the original one. I'd love to know what year this was. I used to know, but can't remember off the top of my head. It's a long time ago. I would probably guess sometime in the 50s, something like that. I suppose it could have been 60s. This chassis I think is from the 60s because it's a bit more modern. It's got nicer wheels on it. But yeah, it's the same chassis. I don't know if you noticed, it's the same chassis that 08 shunter from Friday had, but you'll notice it hasn't got that adapter on the top, although they have provided for it. Look, there's a little lip where that adapter fits and a screw hole. So it truly is the same chassis, the very same but the body fits on slightly differently. And yeah, because of its body, it looks completely different to the 08, but it is the same thing effectively. Right, I'm trying to get this back screw in, making a pig's ear of it. There we go. I think actually my my solder joint is a bit cumbersome, and it's stopping the screw going in. There we are. Bent it back out the way, that's better. Okay, and then bend the capacitor round. Look at that, nice modern capacitor. Make sure none of the legs are touching the chassis, although the leg that's on the chassis side can touch if it likes, but best not. Right, bit of oil on the worm drive, and then let's flip it over, give it some power, see if it works with that new capacitor. And if it blows my face off, well, goodbye everyone. Thanks for coming. Right, is the power supply going to work? Yes, okay. So one clip goes on the helping hand, the other clip I might be able to put on the capacitor that I've just put on. And I'm going to point the capacitor away from me, just in case. I'm sure it'll be fine. Let's procrastinate a bit more, shall we? Put a bit of oil on the com rods, the coupling rods really. There we go. They look reasonably freshly oiled anyway, but I'll add a bit more. Okay, throw the old capacitor away. Okay. Nothing. It's dead. Hang on. Are we completely dead? Oh, no. Just a bad connection. Ooh, I thought it was shorting out then. It wasn't, no. Oh, zipping cruisers, just woke up and the day is so good. Oh, glad to hear that. I take it you don't mean because of me though. This can't be good. No, no, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Zipping cruisers, yeah, I said your name, yeah, sure I did. Right, let me put my fingers on the capacitor. If it's warm, that's not good news. No, it's not. It's stone cold. Let's ramp it up to 12 volts and just check. Oof, that is fast. I don't run my locos at full voltage anyway, but no, it's not getting warm. Okay. Fine. Well, I guess we can use those capacitors then. And there doesn't appear to be any visible sparking on the commutator, so I think that's a win. That works. The wheels don't look too dirty. So I will, I'll find that bag of capacitors and I'll tell you what value I'm using, so that if you need to get some for your locos, you can. I recommend them these days because obviously some locos, such as the Bachmann locos for example, they don't have easy access to the motors, which means you really want to keep the amount of sparking and arcing that the commutator produces to an absolute minimum. And if you open up any modern Bachmann loco with their 3-pole motor inside, you'll find all sorts of different resistors and capacitors soldered across it. Some of it to the point of farce. I don't think we've got any coming up today, but some of them are just ridiculous, the amount of stuff they've got across it, which I think is just to try and protect the motors. Something they obviously didn't think of is just using better motors. But for some reason that hasn't occurred to them. I don't know why. But yeah, I'll let you know. I did say what value they were. Well, so I'll tell you what's written on them anyway. I can't remember, but I went for the highest value in terms of capacitance that I could. And then obviously you just need sufficient voltage so that they don't explode, because I suppose if you picked like a 6-volt one, if such a thing exists, then your controllers could blow it up potentially. Right, where are those caps? I don't know if I put them back in the drawer or what. I don't know what I've done with them. Anyway, I'll just read off the one that I've just put in. That would make more sense, wouldn't it? So, mine say 683 on them. That's what I bought. So, yeah, let me know. Do you think that's a good choice? And if you need some, that's what you probably need to get. I did look it up at the time, so hopefully that's right. Okay, let's get the body back on. There we go. Where's the body screw? The body screw's in the side like the pannier tank. Okay. Does anyone else find this incredibly awkward trying to get these screws in when they're on the side? Because they're just above the front splasher, so you can't quite get to it. There we are. I'm feeling quite smug now because that one went in very easily. But yeah, I've had several fights with these screws before trying to get them in. Right, nice. And what a look! Don't you think this is a lovely thing? Look at that. I've even shined up the buffers, look, so that they're nice and shiny. I don't think they would have left the factory looking like that. But mine does now, mine does. So if anybody ever steals it, I'll be able to recognise it, I guess. Right, there we go. Let's get it onto the track, give it a little test. Fingers crossed it likes the Gauge Master controller. Right, I think we're ready. Yeah, there we go. So that one's working fine. Should we do a crawl test? I mean, these are not designed to crawl, but we'll give it a go. Ready? Oh, thank you, whoever that was. I'll come and have a look. Hey, look at that. That was a good crawl. Still going. It's not smooth, it's jumping, but that is not a bad crawl. I think that's the best we've seen from a Triang this past week. Look at that. Go a bit faster. There we are. That is very, very good. Unbelievably so. I keep thinking it's stalled, it keeps stopping, but then it recovers. There we go. Love it. What a good runner. Brilliant. Yeah. Like I say, it was a really good find. It could well have been faulty when I bought it. I think it was, if I remember. But new motor, you can get them for £8 on eBay. Quick service. I obviously didn't even bother removing the disgusting hair from it. But even so, it runs really, really well. Maybe that's the best it's ever run since I got rid of the gross hairs. Maybe. Right. How's everybody doing? She lives, says Trace Pierce. I know, I know. It's never a given. You never know until the fat lady sings. The fat lady, I guess, being me in this case. Anyway, how's everybody doing in the chat? Matt Phillips is laughing. King Ori says China. Fair enough. She's old, but she's bold, says Trace Pierce. Well, she's bold now, I've taken the hair off her, yeah. Can I get a shout out, says 10 cents, the Star Tug? Yeah, of course you can, no problem. I watched a horror movie in its entirety, and now I'm watching this stream. Well, what's more scary then? I'm not too sure. Smooth as an A4, streamlined, Lord Huffington. Yes, I agree, absolutely. Oh wow, the new Hornby unrebuilt Merchant Navy in BR Blue is now in stock. Really? I think I've got one of those pre-ordered. Ooh, maybe I'll get an email about that then. Hopefully. Matty, hello to you. Nice to see you. Hey Ninja, go again. What are you doing with that motor? What motor? Oh, I was putting a new capacitor onto it because the old one, the legs sheared off as I was unscrewing the motor mounting. Alfredo Buscelli, there's your shout out. This is just a self-roasting session for Sam. I know, it has been, hasn't it? I've led myself into quite a few traps, haven't I? Ellsbridge, sorry to hear yours stopped working. Hopefully, well, this stream should help you to solve that. Right, let me put the date down for that Ginty. So when did I buy this one, if you're interested? I bought it in April 2018, so I've had it for 2 years. Wow, time flies. Right, April 20, and I'll service it again in April 21. Okay, so the next loco then is another sort of vintage one. It's a Wren loco, which you might be interested in. We've got, I think, 3 Wren locos to do next, and then a Heljan, which I'm not looking forward to because they're a nightmare, the Heljans. But we haven't got to do that just yet. So this one is an R1. A little 060 from not Heljan, from Wren. Let me get this, see if I can find it. Oh, we're doing all the vintage ones today. Right, so I've had this one since October 16. I scaled it in 2017. Okay, so the motor hasn't been fully scaled in quite a while, so it'll be interesting to see how it looks. These are a bit fiddlier, I find, a bit more fiddly than the Triang locos. The motors are, at least. We'll see how I get on, but if you're interested, that's what the loco looks like. The Wren R1. There you go. Zoom out. Wren, says Lord Huffington. Yes, Wren. W-R-E-N, that's right. Yeah, I have the Mallard. Yeah, I do. Tristan Clack, Peckett's forever. Oh, I agree. Oh, King Ori just caught you. He says bye. Okay, see you. Right, let's give this R1 a try. Yeah, I don't really enjoy servicing the Wrens. Not because they're not enjoyable to do, just because they're sort of more valuable than the Triangs are, and there's always a bit more pressure to be careful with them. Interestingly, this is one of the very few Wren locos that's actually made of plastic. The rest are all die-cast metal, I believe, but not this one. This one is plastic, body-wise at least. The chassis, of course, is made of metal. And it's held on through the chimney, which is a bit frustrating, as you can tell. Oh, I've got it. Okay, pop the body off, and there we go. As you can see, it's definitely similar to Triang, isn't it? But not quite the same. So we've got two annoying motor screws underneath there, so we'll get those out in a sec. Let's have a look at this. I think we'll try and get the brushes off first. Look at that for a cap. It's a really big choke on that one. Wow, I'd forgotten that. Okay, let's pull the motor out then. I don't know if I can, well, I'd have to take the brush spring off, but I don't know if the motor comes off in its entirety or whether it's wired on. Yeah, I don't know who did this first. I don't know if it was Triang that did this first or Wren, but it works exactly the same. You know, we've got pickups on one set of wheels and the other set is just live to the chassis. I don't know if Hornby Dublo did that before Triang, but I'm pretty sure Triang were making models before Wren were. But it's not really the same question, is it? Because a lot of this stuff was around in the Hornby Dublo times. I don't think there was ever a Hornby Dublo R1 though, was there? I think that might have been produced entirely by Wren. Maybe, I'm not sure. Possibly it was. Possibly there was a Dublo one. But you can see, can't you, that this may have been an attempt to compete with Triang, you know, plastic, affordable bodies, etc. Similar level of detail, similar sort of motor. I don't know if it works. They're certainly not as popular as the Princesses were, or the Gintys or 08s. You don't see that many of them around on eBay, so they can't have sold that many, can they? They're not as classic as the old Triangs are. But they're alright, they're just a decent enough runner. We'll give it a try at some point. I'm not going to take the whole motor apart. You can actually remove the end bearing here and take the armature out if you like, and replace it or clean it up or whatever. But like I say, I do mine every year, so it doesn't need a full strip down. I mean, this is a fairly full strip down, isn't it? But it doesn't need to be completely taken into its constituent parts. That would just be a bit overkill, I think. And I think, well, some people would be willing to watch it. I think most people would be very much gone by that point, so take it easy, I think. Right, there we are, commutator's clean. So as you can see, this has been done in 2017. I cleaned this armature properly with the Dremel. And as you can see, 3-4 years later, it still looks reasonably good. There's a few dirty bits on it, but obviously, because it's quite an abrasive technique, you don't want to be doing it every year. Yeah, I should probably stress that actually. Don't do it too often. It's not necessary. Right, there we go. It's looking good. Let's put these brushes back in then, and we'll get a bit of oil to it, and then we'll have a look at the chassis, and hopefully that will be that. And then I've got some really big Wren locos to do for you then. I think there might have been a Castle in there. Yeah, some big stuff. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to clean these brushes. Don't think I did that already, but I can see a bit of oil on them, which is not a good thing. So let's just take this one out again. Yeah, I can't remember now what it was, but there are two more, I think, two more Wrens after this, and they're not little tank engines. So if you want to see something big and beefy, some of the most powerful motors in the entirety of British model railways, stay tuned, you're going to see them, and they are quite impressive. And that's assuming I can get this thing back together first. Sometimes you need 3 hands for one of these motors, but I think we're in. Yep, seems to be. Okay, bit of oil then, not too much, because I noticed there was quite a bit of oil on the commutator, which there shouldn't have been. The one thing I do like about this motor design is that you never have to put oil on the commutator, or near the commutator rather, because the bearings are at opposite ends and the commutator's in the middle. So the chances of actually getting oil on the commutator are limited, because the gear's the nearest thing. And yeah, you don't put too much on that either. Right, take the base off then, but you can see how similar this looks to a Triang, can't you? I would say they're probably slightly better quality, if anything. But yeah, it's not quite as quick and easy, although having said that, I am doing this one quite quick. But this is easier, I would say, than most Wrens are. Some of them are more difficult than this. Hooray, says RHOEW, aim it. Fair enough. You're really doing your best. Jeff, have a cost? Yes, you can have a shout out. There you go. Chassis looks so nice. Yeah, it is. They're good quality, I must say. They're pretty weighty as well. There's quite a lot of heft to them. But like I say, they don't I don't think they run particularly better than any Triang locos, at least not that noticeably so. They are perhaps a bit better quality, but that's all. I don't think they're any better runners. Right, little oil then on the wheel set. But yeah, I know what you mean. It just looks more like the proper stuff, doesn't it? It looks like the proper job, the proper business. And as you can see, the wheel set runs beautifully freely. That's probably better than a Triang, isn't it? Look at that, really good. Bit of oil on the gear then, put some on the gear so that we're ready. I'll just turn it away so I don't touch it. Get rid of that. Screw the bottom back on. And I like the material that the wheels are made out of as well. It's a lot shinier than the Triang stuff. It probably doesn't, oh, wrong screws, hang on. The shiny materials, to me, don't seem to grip as well as the Triang sort of matte metal does, which normally doesn't matter with the Wrens because obviously they weigh a ton because of their metal construction. But with this one, I've found that it's not such a good puller because obviously it's not metal, it's mainly plastic, which is interesting. But you know, they're not criminally light, so they can still haul a reasonable amount. But yeah, they're not ultra impressive as some of them might be. Right, I've got a bit of insulating tape on this one, as you can see, because the end of this capacitor, that's another cap, isn't it? One of them could be a resistor, I guess. I can't see what's inside there. But the end does seem to touch the chassis sometimes, and I've had this loco short out because of that, so that's why the tape's there. That's one of very few occasions where I'd actually put insulating tape on one of my models. I don't like electrical tape. It's awful stuff, isn't it? Right, is this motor sitting nicely? Then I'll begin. Okay. Yeah, it's awkward. There's just no... The motor is literally just held in with the screws. There's no sort of slot that it fits into, which I don't like as much as the Triangs. Partly because it doesn't stay where you put it while you're putting the screws in. It's not difficult in any way. It's just slightly more awkward. Right. And sometimes you'll put it in and it will be seized up and you've got to reseat it again. But that's not the case with this one. So I can go ahead and tighten it up fully. There we are, nice and tight. Are we in there? Yeah, seems to be. Right, so let's figure out where we can power this. We'll power one terminal, well, we'll put the positive straight to the helping hand, and then we'll put the negative onto the chassis somewhere. Not the chassis, onto the actual motor somewhere. Let's see. There should be all right. Right. Oh, that piece of sellotape, that awful bit of electrical tape's come off. Ugh. Another reason why I don't like it, it doesn't stick on right, does it? Awful stuff, electrical tape. Right, stay there. Once the body's on, it should be okay, I think. Right, have we got power? Oh, we're straying out of shot a bit. Is that better? Right, let's give it a go. Right, that's half power. Is it not working, or have I just not grabbed the right thing? Yeah, it doesn't seem to be working. Hang on. Let's turn it up the right way again. No power. Oh, in fact, I know why. The coupling is plastic, I've just noticed, which means I can't conduct through the coupling. That makes sense. So there might not be anything wrong here then. No, there isn't. Oof, thank goodness. Right, let's couple this up again. Get it upside down and give it a try. Yes, I forgot, because all the Triang couplings, of course, are metal and conductive. Right, the crank pins are all genuine crank pins on these as well, so I will need to oil them all. Yeah, that's working good. Right, a bit of oil then. So that's definitely a bit nicer than the Triangs, isn't it? But it's still got the blind axle, as you can see, on the middle. Oh, there we go. Right, wheel clean, and then we're done. It's not such a nice sound either as the Triang, is it? I know that's a stupid thing to say, but yeah, it doesn't seem quite so nice, does it? Hornby, says Victoria Train Blogs. And Hornby, says Lord Huffington. What's going on with Hornby? Heat shrink is better than tape. Yeah, it is better, but I couldn't get heat shrink on without taking it off, so that was just a It was already pre-wired. It was just one of the wires, the insulation ends, and then it was touching the chassis. So yeah, you're right. I suppose if I desoldered it all and put some heat shrinking on over it, that would have been best. But I couldn't be bothered to do all that. So a little bit of electrical tape will do it. Obviously, if the wire ever failed and I was repairing it anyway, I probably would put some fresh on. But yeah, it was just a simple fix. Keep it in original condition where possible. Not much dirt coming off the wheels though. I suppose the shiny wheels don't attract so much dirt either. All squeaking clean, it's very good. Not sure if the centre wheels touch the track with these, can't remember. See, it's not got that much power to it. I can easily stop it with the cotton bud, but that's because my power supply on the bench is limited to 300 milliamps, and I reckon some of these Wren locos like to draw a bit more than that. And so the voltage drops instead. Okay, there we go. Nice. That one's really good. We'll see. Tell you what we'll do. I'll put the body on, I'll get it down onto the track, and I'll try and do a crawl, and then I'll do a bit of a faster run. And you guys will have to let me know, which do you think is the better runner? Do you think it'll be the Triang or the Wren? So wait till I've showed you both, and then you can decide. We'll see. I honestly don't know. I would have said that the Triangs are better, but I haven't ever compared them directly, so we'll give that a go. So you've just seen the Triang, the Ginty you've just seen run. That's probably the best Triang example I've got, so I think that's a fair representative from Triang there. So let's go down to the track and let's have a go, see if we can't get this one to perform. That's assuming it will work at all. Hopefully that wire isn't touching the chassis again. I think the electrical tape was still in the right spot, but we'll see. Right, here we go. Yeah, I've got to say it's a bit smoother, isn't it? Seems to be. Right, let it run up and down for a bit for you. Send it over the express point as well, so you get a sense of that. We are, no stuttering on the express point. Oh, a little bit there. And here's the crawl. Are you ready? Here we go. Oh, there you go. I don't know if that's better than the Triang or not. It's very, very close. It's very close. A bit faster. It's very similar, very similar. Right, folks, put it in the chat, make it known. Triang or Wren, which one runs the best? Based on those two examples, the Ginty and the R1. Of course, they're not necessarily representative of every Triang or Wren model, but we'll see. Let's have a look. Which one's going to win? I don't know. You see, because I'm more of a fan of Triang, because I've got loads of their models, and they, I've had Triang a lot longer than I've had Wren, so I've got a bit more nostalgia for them. But oh, I don't know. I wouldn't like to call it. They were very close. You pop that in the chat. I'll sign this off, and then I'll come and have a look. April 20, April 21. Give it a tick. The next Wren loco is the N2, and then we've got a Castle. Okay, I like those Castles. The N2 is similar to service, so that won't be too bad, I don't think. Where's the N2? N2, which N2? Because I've got two. The one with the metal trucks. Okay. Right, which one wins? Let's see. The R1, the R1. Right, so let's see. We've got 1, 2 for Triang. 3 for Triang, 4, 5, 6 for Triang, 7 for Triang, 8 for Triang it looks like, and then for the R1 we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know what, I think it's very close, but I think Triang has just about won it, hasn't it? Triang wins. Good, that's probably what I would have picked. I don't know now, more people are coming in. They're very similar. Shall we call it a draw? I don't know. Is that a cop-out? Probably. They were very similar. They were very similar. We'll see. I'll tell you what, we won't make a definitive decision on that right now. We'll do the R1 first. Sorry, we've done that one. We'll do the N2 first. Now, you won't believe this one if you haven't seen this one before. Think of the Oxford N7. Okay, have you done that? Have you imagined that, pictured that in your mind? Now think of the Hornby N2, all right? Quite nice models, yes? Or quite nicely detailed models. Okay, now look at this. Dun, da, da, da. Look at that thing. Now, I'm being unfair there because this was made many years ago. I think this was, well, the body at least, the chassis is a bit later, but I think the body dates from World War II, something like that. It's a die-cast metal body, all of it. Very, very basic thing. It originated not from Wren, but from Hornby 00, so that gives you just an idea of the age. And it was one of the early Hornby 00 ones. Clockwork, I believe, originally, and then upgraded to motor drive, and then Wren, I think, put new motors in them. So they're very basic, probably the least detailed loco I've ever owned. Although it does have the separately fitted metal handrails, but there's just something about them. There's magic in them somehow. You know what I mean? There's just something good about them. But it won't be for everyone. Oh, that's ancient, says Trace. Yeah, it is. And you're right, SLD51, Hornby 00, that's where it came from. It is an N2, I believe. It's supposed to be an N2 like the Hornby one. Although, obviously, it's very much not like the Hornby one. Right. I don't know if this is the same. I think this is the same chassis. It looks similar. It's just got an extension on the back, I think. So they've done what Trying did there as well. Designed it as an 060 and then added some trailing wheels on the back, which is quite interesting, I suppose. I'm sorry that you're having to watch me do another of the same chassis, but we'll see. We'll see. Right, clean the brushes. I don't suppose I need to take the motor out, do I really? Can I still turn the armature? Yeah, I don't think I need to take the motor out. That'll save a bit of time, won't it? I can access it and I can turn it and I can oil it, so it seems a bit lazy, but maybe I will get away with this. Can you see this all right? Let's go in the middle a bit more. There we go. Have I still got audio? Yeah, because I've noticed the batteries are running down on my microphone, because I did yesterday's stream on the same battery and I've done all this morning's filming on the same battery, so yeah, it's going to need a charge soon, but should get us through. If I go dead suddenly, if the sound drops, let me know in the chat. And I've got some spares, obviously, but I prefer not to let them die on me. But I'll certainly flatten them and then charge them so that I can do tomorrow's stream, if that's what I'm doing. We'll see. I don't know what I'm filming tomorrow yet, but yeah, at some point I'll come on and do a stream, hopefully. Might not be a long one, but I'll try and do something every day. How's it going? Have you ever tried scale modelling? Well, I guess this is scale modelling, isn't it? Sort of. Perhaps not this one. I don't know if we can say whether the Wren N2 is to scale or not. Although it's probably not bad, is it? Right. One thing is for damn sure, they didn't use any CADs for it, did they? I think that's pretty fair to say. Right, there we go. Let's pop the brushes back in then, see if this is running all right. We'll go and do the underside in a second. Oh, I'll tell you what, it's a bit more awkward getting the brushes in with the motor installed. There we go. I'm having to be careful with this because I don't have any replacement brush springs. I've got loads of Trying ones, but no Wren ones, so if one of those broke, it'd be out of service until I could find a replacement, so I don't want that. Right, pull the base off just to clean the pickups. Luckily the axles are exposed even when the base plate is on. So, I mean, I guess that's a bad thing because they're unprotected, but it's convenient for servicing. There we go, pickups, nice and clean. They were clean anyway, actually. No dirt came off those at all, but I think we're okay. Right, and then we've got the Heljan Class 26, and you're about to find out what I mean when I say the Heljan locos are not serviceable. There's very little you can do to service them unless you're willing to pull the bogies apart, and of course I'm not most of the time. So it might just be a case of oil and wheel clean for those, but we'll see. I did once try. The thing is, you've got to, I'll show you rather than tell you about it, but yeah, it's quite a lot to even get to the pickups on the Heljans. That's why I'm not a big fan. Right, let's give this a go then. Hopefully I've got the right ones. I'm thinking this bit here will be live, but we'll see. Oh yeah, it is. Good, good, good. Right, now this one stalled then when I pulled the power up. It didn't start straight away. So I wonder if this one's not quite so good a runner as the R1 was. We'll find out. See what everybody says. This might well let the Wren side down, this might, but we'll see. Okay, clean the wheels. Go. Still, they're always perfectly clean, but then again I don't run the Wrens very often. Which is a shame in one way, but I suppose it maintains them, doesn't it? Not being run all the time. It's good for them. But I am one of those people that likes to run locos. I couldn't own a model and never run it. Some of them I don't run as often as I'd like to, because obviously they're super fragile, but I don't think I own any locos that I would never run, because I don't think that's very nice, having a lovely working engine and not have it run. Because then, let's face it, if you were never going to run it, it might as well just be one of those plastic non-running kits that don't look very great but don't run. Now, if you've got a mechanism, you might as well use it, haven't you? Right. Try and get this body back on. There we go. So there we go. That was a slightly more abridged service, but to be honest, with how often I run these, that's all that's necessary, really. These body screws are awkward though, because there's no guide. So you have to try and find the hole. There we go, I think that's the hole. Marked, don't you dare. Okay, screw that in, have we got it? Yeah, we're in. Right, let's get this on the track then, see if this one goes well. Let's take a look at the chat, see how everyone's getting on. Has the chat not updated on the screen? Why not? One sec, folks. Has the chat not been updating this whole time? That's not very good. Hang on. Moo. Is that better? Has that only just happened or what? I'm not sure. Right. How's it going? Wren, says Jeff. Where's the cheese? Yeah, I don't know where the cheese is. The cheese is in the fridge. Okay. Bullman wants to be serviced. I've never serviced a cow before. I don't think anybody, well, I hope nobody can say that they have. Right, let's get this R1 on the track then. Here we go. Hang on. There we go. Right. Yeah, I have a feeling this one won't do as well as the R1 did. We'll see. I ought to do a comparison, didn't I, between this and the Hornby N7, but there is no comparison really. Right. Yeah, it's not sounding so healthy. Again, it's got a bigger metal body and there's a lot more weight on the wheels with this one. So that the motor's having to work a lot harder to get this thing to move. I bet that's why, in fact. Try a crawl. Come on. No. Ah, you know what? The extra weight has really done this in, given that it's the same mechanism, more or less. I know it's better in forwards. Not as good as the R1 was, though, I don't think. A bit slower. Yeah, it's good in forwards, actually. Yeah, that's not bad. It's not bad, but in reverse, it's definitely not as good. And it does keep stalling. But it's not bad for the age, don't get me wrong. And the nice runners, you know, set them to medium speed like that, they'll go like that all day. Till the brushes wear out, probably. Yeah, they're nice. I do like those. They've got something about them, haven't they? They're certainly not for everyone, but I quite like them. I like a bit of everything I do. Good. Okay. So next up then, we have the Castle. Now this is one of the big ones. This is one of the Hornby 001s as well. They've been around for many years. Let me just tick this off. April 2021. Okay, put that one a tick. Okay, so it's Windsor Castle. That is the BR Blue one, I believe. Very good. Again, this one wasn't scaled. Well, it was last, the armature, rather, the commutator was last scaled in 2017. So we'll have a look, see what it looks like. Take a drink. Okay. What time are we on? Wow, I've been doing this an hour, have I? That's crazy. Okay. Where are we? Castle class. Here goes. This one is going to be interesting. Don't know how long this is going to take. Right, do you found those screwdrivers hard to work with? No, not really. Although I've used the same screwdrivers now for years and years, so yeah, maybe I'm just really used to them. I don't really know whether there's anything better, because I've just always used those. But there we go, there's the Castle for you anyway. Stay hydrated. Yeah, I stay hydrated. Right, run all the Bachmann Thomas and Friends models together with their favourite loads. Oh, that's a good idea, Michael. That would be fun. Okay, Mark, let's go for this. What do you call an elephant that doesn't matter? Irrelevant. That's quite good, actually. It's not bad for Mark, is it? That's certainly not too bad. Well done, Mark. Well done. 10 points and a pat on the back. Right, so there we go. Introducing the Wren Castle. As you can see, it's quite a nice thing, isn't it? You just can't help but really like it. It's like a cartoon of a castle class, isn't it, really? I love the copper chimney, and then the fact that it's metal. It's so heavy. Shall I weigh this for you? Let's do that. I'll have to weigh something else as well to give you some context. So that weighs 634 grams, 633. Okay, now a Hornby Castle class, let's grab a Hornby one. Bear in mind my Hornby's got a TTS decoder inside, so it's heavier because of that. The Hornby Castle, Earl of St. Germans, is 352 grams, 51. So it's going on about half the weight of the Wren. That's crazy, isn't it? Same size thing, double the weight. Madness. Well, almost double. Anyway, let's stop marvelling at how heavy the thing is and try and take it apart. And I tell you what, these are built like tanks. If modern locos were built like this, there would not be a quality problem, that's for sure. I mean, don't get me wrong, we wouldn't have very much detail either. But seriously, yeah. Wait till you see this. There are 3 screws, massive screws, that just hold the body on. And that's the body alone. Right, so we'll take the tender off. This screw here does the tender. Oh, who was that? Trace Pierce, thanks very much. He says, check you later, Sam. Keep up the good work. Oh, thanks, Trace. See you later. Have a good day. Take care. Right, tender wheels. Let's clean those. The tender doesn't do any picking up. The wheels are purely just dummies, really. But they're metal, as you can see, as everything seems to be on these. Even the tender's metal. It's not the case with all of them. In fact, interestingly, Wren, when they teamed up with Triang, or Hornby Triang, they actually borrowed the A4 from the A4 tender, rather, and they produced the Hornby tender with the Wren A4 for a while. I don't know why. I think something must have happened to the original A4 tooling, or possibly the Hornby A4 tooling, or the Triang one, whatever you want to call it, was slightly better. But either way, yeah, they used that for some reason. Although, was it an A4? Or was it the Flying Scotsman tender? I've forgotten that. Let's just have a quick look. Yes, it's the Flying Scotsman one. So there you go. As you can see, that does not look like a normal A4 tender. That's the same one that the Triang Flying Scotsman used, I think. But Wren used them for their A4s. I don't know why. Like I say, I'm sure I did read why. Or it might have just been somebody telling me why they thought it was. But yeah, it's just interesting, isn't it, that? Right, I can't wait for you to see the motor inside these things. Absolutely monstrous. They're probably, I don't know, powerful enough to run a loco 4 or 5 times the size, probably in a different scale. Probably more powerful than any O-gauge motors that you use today. Very, very big, powerful things. But they don't have a lot of torque at slow speed. They're not the best slow speeds. But when you think that the loco alone weighs 600 grams, not to mention the heavy tin plate coaches that they used to haul, yeah, they had to have a degree of power to them. But they also needed quite a lot of maintenance too. And they're a bit of a pest to service as well. They are ring-filled motors technically, although they're not like the Hornby ring-filled motors. They literally just have motors that sit in a ring field. The field around them is a ring shape. They use a ring magnet, in fact. So there we go. The motor is this bit at the back. This whole bit here is the motor. From there to there, that thing is the motor. Absolutely huge. Or I guess technically this bit here is the motor, but it's all one piece. So let's have a look here. Let's take the motor off and give it a bit of a service, shall we? Only one motor screw with this one. These are slightly better designed in that the motor sits onto a peg which holds it in position, which is a bit better than the R1, which obviously had 2 screws and no peg, but it's not a big difference. Okay, here we go, look, this is the motor. Insane, and it weighs a lot. That's probably as weighty as some Hornby locos in their entirety, and that's just the motor. Crazy stuff, crazy stuff. Right. Okay, Lord Huffington, see you later, take care. Everyone's like, oh gosh, in the chat. I know. Can you imagine if a Hornby Castle had a motor this size? Well, we know what the Hornby Castle motor looks like, because we did it on Friday. Certainly wasn't this big, was it? Any of you folks that were watching? There we are, look, there's the peg that it sits into. So there's a peg there, fits into the hole in the chassis there, and that holds it in place. Okay, and look at this. This is what I mean when I say it's bulletproof. 4 motors, 4 screws holding the motor together. It doesn't have 4 motors, that would be insane. Right, what should I do first? Pop the brushes out. The brushes go in the sides like that. You've got these little springs which hold them in. You can pop that off, if possible. There we go. So they're the springs, easily lost, but I've never lost one yet. Oh, that's not a good thing to say, is it? I'm going to lose it now, I guarantee it. Okay, see if the brushes are coming out. If not, we'll just proceed. Oh, we got one. Okay, fair enough. I'll show you the brushes as well. Remember how tiny those little Wren brushes were from the R1? These are pretty big. That's all carbon. So you've got a lot of life on those brushes as well, which is really good. Okay, here goes. Let's take this thing apart. So like I say, 4 screws, but they are sort of necessary because if you only had 2, it probably wouldn't hook together very well. Let me just check the magnet. Yeah, the magnet's all right. Because the magnets act directly onto the armature and there aren't any pole pieces to sort of carry them across, the magnets don't really have to be as strong in these because, like I say, they act directly onto the windings. Okay, motor screws out. I think some of these need a bit more unscrewing. Look at them. Yep, they're certainly over-engineered, but not in a bad way like the DJM stuff was. In a really sort of quality way. Does make the servicing a bit more difficult, of course, but yeah, there's just something satisfying about a really hardcore loco like this. They certainly don't make them like this anymore. Right, there we go. So let's spill the insides. There we go. We've got the brush stuck inside, as you can see, so I'll just try and ease that out. We've got an actual ball bearing. Go on. We've got an actual ball bearing sitting inside there, so you have to be careful not to lose that, although I can see it in there, so that's good. Keep that upright for the most part if I can. Right, clean up the brushes. Some of these locos lose their ball bearings, so if you're buying one second hand, it's actually worth making sure they've still got them, because if they haven't, they'll run quite badly, but all of mine have them. Some of them didn't, don't get me wrong, but I bought some. I can't remember what size they are. Are they 0.3 mil? No, they can't be that small. I don't know if they were 3 mil, but that seems too small. They might have been 3 mil ball bearings, I'm not too sure. Yeah, you do need them. They do run better with them. Okay, there's the commutator. As you can see, it's just the same sort of thing as the trying ones. And as you can see, the windings there are nestled right inside the magnet, which is a ring shape, as you can see, and that's why they're called ring-field motors. Although people get confused because when you say ring-field, people think of the Hornby ring-field with all those gears on it that they used, and it's very much not similar to that. For a start, it has a different commutator, doesn't it? It doesn't have the sort of flat commutator. Although interestingly, the original XO4 motor, or the forebearer, the predecessor rather, sort of thing, did have a flat commutator that was very similar to the later Hornby ring-field ones, but they got rid of it quite early on because I don't think it worked very well. And the friction must be less on a circular one like this, I'd imagine. It's got to be, hasn't it? Right, there we go. Although maybe the contact time is larger on a flat commutator, because obviously with them being circular, the brush only touches the centre part. I don't know. It'd be interesting to tell the difference, but you'd need to actually test them side by side. You'd need the same motor with two different, the same type of motor with two different commutators, wouldn't you? So I don't know how easy that would be to find. It's important not to take the magnets out of here, by the way. I'm just wondering whether it will need recharging now that I've took it apart. I don't think it will. But yeah, it's important that you don't take the magnet right off, because it can lose some of its magnetism. That's the word. A bit of oil on the bearing there, not too much, because obviously it's right next to the commutator there. And I can pop that in. Try not to get the ball bearing out of alignment. That's spinning freely, which is good. So now I'll screw it all back together and put some oil on the other end. So notice I didn't actually take out the armature in its entirety, because I don't want to disturb the ball bearing that's at the other end. Because sometimes they come out and it's a lot harder to get those back in. It's harder to access it. Okay. And these motors are not that great. I mean, they're very powerful, don't get me wrong, and they're very big and they're very well engineered, but they don't run all that much better than other motors. The crawl isn't always that great, and they do seem to have a reasonably high failure rate, particularly if they're not serviced. I'm sure if you serviced it every year like I do, you'd never get a problem, but a couple of mine are a bit on the dodgy side, that's for sure. Okay, that's going. Another part of the service is to loosen off this bearing at the end and adjust it so that it's just right, but I have already done that with this one, and you can see there's a little tiny bit of give on the armature there, but not too much, and yeah, that's fine to do. It's dad joke central tonight, says Tristan. Oh, I've been missing all the dad jokes. I can imagine though, if Duckman and Mark are in the chat, it's going to be some dad jokes, man, you can guarantee it. Right. Let's put some oil on, and then we'll put the brushes back in and we'll see if the thing works. I will test this one before it goes on the Loco, because like I say, they are a bit temperamental. So if I know the motor works and then I put it on the Loco and it doesn't, then I can pretty much guarantee that it's not the motor's fault, although it could be. Sometimes a motor doesn't always display a problem until it's under load, but we'll see. I don't think, there was nothing written on my servicing book to indicate that there's a problem with this, so we'll see. So what you do with these, look, you wind the spring all the way back like this, and then you drop it onto the brush. And the current through the motors is so high that the wires cut through the brush. As you can see, we've got a slot cut into the brush. They did not look like that from new. I bought some new brushes and they did not have slots. The springs cut the slots on their own, which is a bit worrying, isn't it? I don't know if that's because of the heat or what. Could just be the pressure, but I would assume it would be the heat. Bit worrying, of course, that there's heat generated by it, but I guess that's motors for you, isn't it? Okay, well, these motors are easy enough to power. You can literally just grab these terminals and then you're away, hopefully, assuming the thing works. Okay, here goes. Let's hold it. Give it some power. There we are. It's going, and that's the worm drive there. It's not really, I suppose it is a worm drive, but it certainly doesn't look a lot like the trying ones. There we are. As you can hear, that sounds reasonably good, not too noisy. They are quite quiet locos, these. They're not terribly loud runners. There we are, that's 10 volts. As you can see, it ain't crawling. That's about as slow as it's going to go. And as you can see, it's not dreadfully slow. What voltage are we on? We're on about 3 volts there. Yeah, it runs all right on 3 volts. Anything less, it'll stall. So there we are, that's the motor done. I think what we'll do now is deal with the wheel set and the pickups before I put that in so that they're free to turn. So let's just flip that over. Nice long wire, as you can see, so we haven't got to worry about pulling the wires out. That's something the modern Hornby Castle class didn't do very well, isn't it? Stupidly short wires on the pickups. This one should be better, hopefully. There we are, pop this out. The pickups are a bit fiddly on this as well, as you can see. It's just a wire that's been soldered on. It's very basic stuff. You might even call it a botch by today's standards, but it works. I've got to say, they don't stutter on points or anything. They do work really, really well. Biggie Nice says, Sam, help me enjoy trains. Oh, that's nice. Thank you very much. Model Steam, where are you? Says Tyler the Gamer. What? Yeah, Pablo. Yeah, it was nice and quiet. Yeah, they're not bad. Not too noisy. Although that's just the motor. You might take that back once you've heard the whole thing put together. But yeah, they're not too bad. Although it's the same thing again, once the body's on, it does amplify the sound a little bit with the sound echoing around inside. But yeah, they ain't too bad, not too bad. Look at that. Ooh, grotty. Yeah, these locos do seem to produce a lot of dirt. I don't know why really. But modern locos don't produce as much. Right, a bit of oil then on the wheel set. These are kept nice and clean. There we go. So a bit on each axle. Again, these like a bit of extra oil. You certainly don't want to go overboard with it, but a little bit of extra is all right. There we go. Okay, put this back together. I feel like I need to sneeze, so I apologise in advance if an explosion should happen. Right, so I've got to hold that in place and somehow get the base plate in place without the pickups moving. It's quite a fiddly thing to do that. I think we've done it though. Well, I think I've done it. Right, screws in. Yeah, these aren't, the whole pickup system on these isn't very good. These plastic pieces tend to crack and fail over time. Particularly if you screw them in too tight, and they do need to be tight, otherwise the pickups move. So they're not the best. But I think we're okay there. Make sure the pickups are still springing nicely. Yeah, that one is. That one is. Okay, good. The wheel set doesn't feel terribly free though, I must say. Yeah, that's not so bad actually. Yeah, I think we're okay with that. It's getting freer as I'm doing this actually. Oh yeah, that was interesting. But you see what I mean? Look, the base doesn't sit on particularly nicely. It sort of warps around a bit. Yeah, don't know. Just something not quite the way I like it. But yeah, they seem to run fine, like I say. Right, let's pop this motor back in then. See if we can get the whole thing to work. And then we've got the dreaded Heljan diesel to restore or service. But like I say, I don't think there'll be much I can do. I doubt there'll be much I can do. Right, is this the motor screw? This looks rather large to be the motor screw. I forget which one it was now. Never mind, we'll try. Yeah, I guess it was the motor screw then, fair enough. It's not gone through and touched the armature, I hope. No. Right, good. Okay, so let's flip this over again. Let's grab it in the helping hand. I need to give the crank pins a bit of oil. And then we'll give it a try. And again, this does have the proper crank pins. Can't talk properly. Or properly. Yeah, so the trying ones, obviously, the crank pins at the back and front are usually just dummies. With these, they are actually genuine crank pins. Although they're not the hexagonal ones like we get these days. I think they're hexagonal, they're not pentagonal, are they? I don't know. I've never counted the sides on a crank pin, funnily enough. I tend to have slightly better things to do than that. Not much better, but slightly. Right, is it going to work? Like I say, the current's going to be a problem again because this power supply can only do 300 milliamps, and that's pretty much on the borderline of what these like to have. So we'll give it a go. Oh yeah, it's good. As you can tell, not too noisy. It's certainly not bad. And that's running really nice. And if you were just doing this for the first time, now you would loosen up the back bearing on the motor and just adjust it. And the loco will speed up very slightly when it's in the sweet spot. And that's what you need to aim for. And then you tighten it up again, of course. But that's already been done with mine, and as you can see, it's running quite happily. There we go. Clean the wheels. How's everyone doing? Oh, hello there, Mark Witt. Nice to see you. Oh, IDK13 says they are hexagonal. There we go. Someone has been counting, I guess. You're on 155, huzzah. Oh, is this subscribers, Mark? Well done. Congrats. If it is subscribers, don't know. The first ones are the hardest, that's for sure. So if you've got your first 50, you're well on the way, for sure. Took me a long time to get 50. Okay, I think we're there. Look at that. Not bad, is it, that? Not a lot of dirt at all from that wheel set. Very good. Okay, let's pop it all back together then. See if it'll crawl. No, we haven't got enough current to start again. I'll have to try and do it by hand. Right, slow it down. See how slow we can go. I warn you, it won't be very. We are still going. No, that's it. And because the power supply doesn't have a lot of current to it, yeah, you can't start it again. But because the gauge master ones on the main railway can put out an amp, there's enough there to get it started. And then after it's started up, the current normally drops down to 200-300 milliamps, something like that with one of these. But generally you do need that high current just to start it, which is why my bench power supply struggles with some of the older locos, and some of the triangles are like that as well. Okay, let's screw all this back together then, not forgetting the rear screws, which are a bit awkward. I might have to take it out the cradle to do these, but we'll try. This is weird, I'm like reaching behind it. Go on. No, I want to get it in straight. There we are. That's one in. Let's do the other one. Yeah, same thing again, isn't it? Fiddliest part is always the body. Now that was easier. You start it with your fingers. It's not so bad. There we are. We can tighten them up now. They're all in. And then I'll put the tender on. The tender's quite revolutionary on these. Obviously all tenders these days are screwed together to the loco permanently, but they weren't back in these days when these were made, so it's quite unusual, this. Like I say, I don't think they do any conducting. The drawbar is isolated, I think. Well, it's not isolated, but there's no good connection to it because there's no spring holding them together. Tighten that up as well. Right, let's get it down onto the track, see how everyone's doing. Let's have a quick look at the chat first. Right, circle is so pretty, says SLD51. Have we been looking at the same circle? Tyler the Gamer, how are you? I'm alright, thank you. How are you, Tyler? What power supply do you use? It's, I don't think it's a branded one. I think it was a kit. My uncle must have built it. He's dead now, so I can't ask him, but it was his. Yes, it came from his house after he died. I did do a video about some of the stuff, so you can see it there. Yeet says Terrier82 Box Hill. I think he wanted a shout out earlier, so we'll do that. Tristan Clack, any chance of a tram review? Yes, I'm doing a tram over the next month, hopefully, so stay tuned. Right, let's get that castle onto the track then. Here we go. Hopefully this will actually work. I think it will, assuming the pickups are making contact properly. Okay, the Wren Castle, here we go. Man, this is so heavy. You could tone your muscles up with something like this, honestly. One of these in each hand. Oh, thank you very much, whoever that was. I'll come and take a look. We'll just try this first. Here we go. So as you can see, there is enough power to start it up there, which is good. As you can hear, not terribly noisy. There's not a lot of vibrations. Obviously, those 4 screws holding the motor together make sure there's no rattling or anything. Ooh, is the tender on, right? Yeah, tender seemed to jump then on the express points. Alright, here we go. Let's see if we can get it to crawl. Actually, that's better than I expected. There we go. For a loco that was probably engineered sometime in the 50s or 60s, that is not bad, is it? Certainly not smooth, but yeah, you'd expect manufacturers these days to be able to master it if they could master it back in the 50s and 60s, but yeah, some of them don't. That's really good. Look at that. That is really good. Love it. So there you are. Hopefully that's a bit of an introduction to Wren for those who aren't familiar. Not bad, is it? It's not detailed or anything, but it's a good runner. And I wonder if the gauge of the wheels on the tender is a bit dodgy, because it is tripping over a bit on that express point, but of course it's not really designed for fine scale track. And the centre axles are flanged on the tender at least, which is normal, but I've noticed on some of the Wren stuff the axles on the tenders don't have a lot of give to them, and there are one or two actually that tend to trip over and derail occasionally, particularly on tight point work and tight curves. J70 is indeed Toby Terrier 82 Box Hill, certainly is. And no, I haven't reviewed it yet, SLD51, but I'm hoping to soon. Hey up Dom, nice to see you. Norbert, be sensible, be sensible. And Lavers 454, I just spotted you, there you go. Shout out. And Model Steam, shout out to you as well. Right, I'm not looking forward to this next one, partly because it frustrates me that I can't do a proper service on it. But it is the Heljan Class 26, a good model, but not a good one to service. So let me just sign this one on. And then I'll find it in my book and see what angry notes I've written about it. Provided they're not too, well, provided they don't use any filthy language. I might read it out. I guarantee there'll be something bad about it. FG, H for Heljan, and it's a 26. Right. Right, it says, okay, it says removed detailing from buffer beam to fit coupling. Yes, I sense that I was slightly angry when I had to write that. And then it says the sides of the bogies come off and the base unclips. So that's part of my frustration with some of Heljan's mechanisms. Instead of making them easy to service, you have to literally take the bogies entirely apart to get access to the axles and the pickups and such. It's a bit frustrating. But we'll give it a try, shall we? See if we can't get the pickups cleaned on this. Okay. Let me just get the paintbrush to it. It's a nice model though, I must say. It's a great looking model. But yeah, the quality's still not brilliant in my opinion. Okay, here we go. Heljan 26. There it is. Quite a nice one, that. Now it's been sitting on bubble wrap, and the bubble wrap looks as though it's oily, because there's a bit of oil on the base of the bogies, so maybe I went a bit overboard with it. We'll clean some of that off, no problem. Start with, just so I don't get oil all over the thing. There we go, and dry it again. And we'll do that first, shall we? Try and get the bogies apart before I take the body off. Okay, I don't know how the body clips on. I think it is just clipped, probably. Right. So, are you ready? This is the frustrating part. So, remember on some of the others where you just unscrew 2 screws and the base of the bogie comes off and you can just access it? Well, watch this one. Here we go. So that's got to come off. Okay, that's off. Same with this side. See if I can pop it off. And there's no proper way to actually do this, so you could probably damage it doing this. There we are. There we are. And that's what holds the pickups on. As you can see, they're just fitted in and trapped by those bogie pieces, so that's not very good. And then you've got to try and overcome these clips on the sides of the bogie, look. But the wheels, so there's clips underneath here, look. Can you see? But the wheels are in the way, so you can't get a screwdriver in there or your fingernails or something. So you do run the risk of you run the risk of breaking clips anyway, don't you? So how do you do it? Well, that's a good question. I tend to go in from the side if possible, but it's not easy. You've got to try and lever them up, and yeah, this will break it in the end. One day these clips will break because I'm sputtering it with a screwdriver, and then I'll be in a mess because I won't be able to put the bogie back together. If only they used screws to do it. Okay, so that's one of 4 clips. Now I've got to make sure this doesn't clip back on, and it's going to if I'm not careful. So keeping that tension, bearing in mind if I go too much the bogie is going to rip out. Got to try and get the other one. Okay, there we go, that's 2. And this is fiddly stuff. 3 and 4. So all of that just to get inside. And as you can see, we don't have any proper bearings. It's just a plastic chassis. I'm pretty sure that is just plastic. And the wheels just sit straight into the plastic, which is fine, but these are not cheap models. So I've always wondered, why do they have such cheap mechanisms? I mean, Bachmann locos are expensive and in some cases very overpriced, but at least you get what you pay for in terms of mechanism usually. So there we go. As you can see, look, the pickup strips are literally just shoved in place there. There's nothing holding those in. And now I can clean the base. Oh, I don't like doing that. Happy birthday to Duckman's son, Capri. Oh, fantastic. Love it. Sam has a cat. No, I don't have a cat. I'm allergic to cats. Sorry. Right, let's try and get this cleaned up then. As you can see, we've got some odd looking gears in here. Very wide, aren't they? I suppose that keeps them meshing together, but I suppose that makes quite a lot of friction, I'd imagine. Right, let's get all these cleaned up, try and get some of this oil off. You've got to be careful with the pickups, of course. The pickups don't come off. Well, they do, but they're not supposed to. I suppose you could lose them inside the body, couldn't you? And this is all plastic, as you can see. It's cheap plastic that bends around. Yeah, I must say the quality of the hornbeam mechanisms and the Bachmann ones tends to be leaps and bounds ahead of Heljan's, in my opinion anyway. You can let me know if you disagree, but I do not like having to wrestle with those clips to get the bogie apart. Because like I say, one day with all this oil on them, these are going to get brittle and these clips will break off one day. So much easier just to have a couple of screws and that would be the end of that. Right, okay, let's clean the pickups. And then we've got the fun part of putting it all back together again, but that is easier. And that just sort of backs up what I was saying about this being easy to manufacture, but they haven't paid much attention to how easy it is to service, because I'll show you this when it comes to putting it back together, how much easier it is. Just get these pickups in the right place. So yeah, I suppose that's my biggest gripe. They pay a lot of attention to making them easy to put together, but they're not that easy to take apart. I think that's basically what I'm trying to say. Right, let's try a bit of this silicone grease then, because like I say, I'm not too bothered about what happens to this. So we'll put some silicone in there, see if that helps. Not a lot, just a bit. There we go, that should mix itself around. A little bit of oil on the axles themselves. Okay. And then let me show you how easy these are to assemble. Are you ready for this? Someone start a timer. So your base plate, snap. The bogie pieces, they just need to line up with the holes and then they should snap together. That's in. And the other bogie piece. Time. See? So that's what they're having to do in the factory. Took me probably 3 or 4 times as long to get the thing apart again, as we're about to see with the other side. Okay, so got to ease this off again without snapping any of those holders. There we go. I'm a gaming spice company. Who's that, Duckman? Do you mean me, or is it Mark? Oh, is that MDH Games, a gaming spice? What's a gaming spice? That's interesting. Spices for gamers? Don't know what spice that would be. Mother's basement spice. Okay, let's try and get this off. This is the part I really don't like doing. I feel like I did the other one quite successfully. It's hurting my nails. Here we are. Clip the first. Come on. No. Ah. Curses. Nope. Of course, if you slip, you could do the pickups in, couldn't you? Which wouldn't be very good. Yeah, 3, and the 4th one should usually come out quite easy. There we go. Yes. Makes you appreciate Hornby and Bachmann, doesn't it? That's for sure. Right, clean this up again then. There we go. And don't get me wrong, this is better than some of them. Some of them I wasn't actually able to get into at all. Oh my god. The whole bogie is splitting apart now. Look. Why isn't this screwed together? Look, the whole thing is just coming apart. Got to hold that together. So does the base hold the whole thing together? So if you're not careful, you could split that open, and like I just have in fact, all those gears could come falling out and you'd have no idea how to get it back together again. It ain't good stuff, is it? I'm sorry to say it if people really like Heljan mechanisms, but they might run well, but they're not worth the money they cost. Sorry to say it. Anyway, I'll have to do a Hornby diesel at some point. I haven't actually got a modern Hornby diesel. I've got modern Hornby electric, and I've got quite a lot of modern Bachmann diesels. And yeah, they're better. It must be said. Right, let's clean the axles. Should be glad, I guess, we've got metal wheels. Right, there we go. Right, let's pop these back in, if I can, without trapping the pickups. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that one's sticking out a bit too much. Let's see if I can hold it back with the screwdriver. Yep. All right, there we go. What do you reckon, folks? Do you reckon you'd fancy doing this? Yeah, this is one I don't enjoy doing. I wouldn't ever recommend starting out servicing one of these because it will put you off for life. But I should say it hasn't broken, which is something. Oops, a bit too much there. Yeah, quite a lot came out there. Although I suppose it's not such a bad thing, but I'll try and distribute it about a little bit. There we are. At least there's a lot of gears. If it was just 2 gears meshing, I'd probably try and get some of that off. But yeah, you probably want quite a bit in there. Right, okay, let's put this back together then. Let's put a bit of oil on the axles and then get that base back on before the whole thing falls to bits. That was frightening when the thing came apart. I wasn't expecting it to do that. Right. Which websites would be the best to buy a Hornby Tornado? Depends where you are. If you're in the UK, check Hattons and Rails of Sheffield. I know Rails of Sheffield have got some in stock, and maybe Hattons have as well. Just check the prices, I would, and see who's best. They are good models, so they're okay. Right, yeah, let's put this back together then. Let's snap the base back on. Oops, I don't know if I've got this on the right way or not now. I don't think there is a wrong way, is there? Maybe there is. Maybe I need to squeeze the thing together a bit first. Oh, please don't say it ain't going to go together right. Oh, perhaps there is a right and a wrong way then. Oh well, didn't know that. I might have just been doing it wrong, but we'll see. Okay, that one goes on. Yeah, just this whole thing with the bogies coming apart is not very good, is it? I'd rather the whole base come off in one piece. That's better in my opinion. Okay, so that's done. Now we'll see if we can get to the motor. Usually they don't make it easy for you to get to the motor, but I like to try and put a bit of lubricant on it, but we'll see. We'll assess the quality, shall we, as we go. So once again, there's no screws, which means, again, easy to assemble in the factory, but not easy to disassemble. So I use these glue spreaders. In fact, I will just check there are no screws, although I'm pretty sure there aren't because it's Heljan. We ought to do a screw count, didn't we? Shall we see how many screws we can find? I think we're at a grand total of 0 so far, which is exactly as you'd expect. What's that? Does this come off? Yes, but I don't think I want it to. Right, so I'm going to try and get one of these glue spreaders behind the body. There we are. Not 100% sure where the clips are, so we'll just guess. Yeah, there they are. So yeah, once again, you can just slap these bodies on in the factory. At home, when it's time to service or DCC fit, you've got to go through all this, or you've got to try and piggle it off with your fingernails and all that nonsense. Nope, most Bachmann diesels, two to four screws, undo them, the body comes right out. Much better. Right. So with 4 glue spreaders stuck in, I can now lift out the body. And there's access to the motor. Oh, wait. No. Man, look at all the scratches inside the body. Have I done that with glue spreaders? Surely not. Must have come like that, I guess. Look at all the dodgy tape I've just noticed. This is their patch on the lighting design to make sure we don't get leakage, I guess. Just this weird tape all over it. I've not done that. That's come from the factory, I think. Yeah, you just get a sense of quality, don't you? Right, screw count is still 0. We've got these rubber bits that hold the circuit board in place. So again, I'm sure that's easy to put together, but to get it off again, not that easy. I'll try and do it though, see if we can't get into the motor. So we've got to push that back, I think. There we are, peel that out. Oh yes, and something else went wrong with this. I'm just wondering what this wire was. It lost continuity, the Loco lost continuity across this resistor, I think. It was one of the resistors. And so to make the thing work, I actually had to put a wire on there to bridge the connection. So that's another thing that went wrong with it. And that went wrong quite early on as well. I hadn't had it for a long time. And at long last, there we have access to the motor, which does have nice flywheels, I must say. So at least outwardly, they are rusty, but outwardly it performs well. And that is, to be absolutely fair, these do run pretty well. So there we are, a little bit of oil each end of the motor there. And there we go. I might try, no, we've got plenty of oil on the gear train. I don't think I'll try to oil the worm drives. Okay, put those in. Again, easier to put in than it is to take out. Okay, I think we're in there. Shouldn't matter too much, it's not going anywhere, is it? Okay, and then we'll give that a try. Let's have a look. Marcus, YouTube engineer. Sure, Marcus, I can give your channel a shout out. There you go, shout out. Do you still have the Marklin tin wagons? Says Itch Selbust. Yes, I do. I absolutely do still have them. Yeah, they're quite cool. They're historic. They don't have the original wheels though. I put my own wheels in, which was interesting. Okay, so how do I power this? I'm going to try and put some power to these resistors, I think, and see if we can get it to run that way. Let's have a go. Because obviously there's no non-driven wheels with pickups on with this one, so it's not so easy. I suppose I could go straight to the decoder socket, like that. It's probably not the best idea, but thing is I can solder, so if I beggar up one of the solder joints, it doesn't matter that much. Yeah, it's going. Okay, so let's get some Lego to rest it on, because obviously if I rest it straight on these crocodile clips, it's going to mess it up. I've just lost my light. Hang on. I was running the batteries down so I can recharge them for yesterday. We'll go back on mains now. There we go. Okay. Let's see if we can get the wheels clean. I noticed the wheels were quite dirty, so this is going to be fairly important, I'd say. Yeah, credit where credit's due. I don't think much to the mechanism and the quality of it, but it does run well, this one. Or at least it did before I started meddling with it, so we'll see. So this is now precariously balanced on some Lego bricks, but I'm going to be holding it with my hands as well. Okay, juice. There we go. You can see it's spinning up quite nice. And let's clean the wheels. Here we go. Let's hold on to it properly. I do not want this thing to fall down. Yeah, this is quite a powerful Loco, this, for all its design. Well, I don't know. They're not really design faults, they're just, it's not really geared towards the customer, really. It's not, yeah, it's not a very courteous design, shall we say. Not very thoughtful. But, like I say, regardless, it does run nicely. So once you've had the nightmare of servicing it, you've then got, hopefully, another year's running from it, which is usually quite good. okay? But hopefully you see what I mean about it being quite plasticky. Ooh, sounds like a tube train. It's resonating. And resonance, that was the word I was trying to remember on Friday. Well, I can't remember which loco now, but one of the locos was vibrating in a certain way. The word I wanted was resonating. There we go. It was bugging me. And plus no one had a clue what I was talking about, so now you do. Right, thank goodness that's done. I'm glad that one is over. Very fiddly to do. And yeah, like I say, one of these days those clips are going to break. Because I'm manhandling them, obviously. You have to manhandle them to get them out. Or you're messing around with it all day, of course. Okay, body back on. As you can see, how easy that was. That's all they're having to do in the factory. Well, assemble. Obviously they've got to build the thing first. I'm not saying it's super easy, but yeah, it was certainly quicker to put the body on than to take it off, wasn't it? That's for sure. Right. Oh, I am glad that's over. Let's put this on the track then and give it a test. I'm pretty sure it will work well. I should probably have tested each wheel individually to check that it's picking up, but yeah, if they're not, it should become pretty obvious when we're on the track. Okay, here goes. Right, take it away. Yeah, got to be said, they're beautiful runners, really, really nice. Big flywheels, nice and quiet, no metallic grinding because it's all made of plastic, of course, but or at least the bogies are. It's quite a heavy chassis block, obviously, it's not all plastic. Right, let's see that crawl. There we go. It's about as slow as it goes. It's not really a crawler. Let's try again from cold. Nope. Go on. Yeah, that's really about as slow as it can go and keep it stable. It wanted to start a bit slower than that. See, it wants to go there, doesn't it? It's really trying, but it doesn't quite have the torque. You have to give it a hair more, and it goes. But it's not bad. They're certainly not bad. They're good runners, I must say. Very good. And the Garrett is a good runner as well. Really nice and smooth, but just going to be a nightmare to service it, frankly. I'm not looking forward to it. And also I've noticed the wheels on the Garrett get dirty incredibly quickly, to the point where the next time I wanted to run it, after I reviewed it, it wasn't working properly. And I thought, oh no, what's wrong? Turned it upside down. The wheels were filthy. And it had done perhaps, I don't know, how long did it take to do a review? 2 or 3 hours of running, something like that. At the absolute most, it was probably more like 2 hours. Absolutely caked in dirt, the wheels, because there's only 4 wheels per wheel set that actually do any picking up. And yeah, with the amount of current that loco draws, it's obviously not enough. I don't know for sure that that's the reason. It could just be the material of the wheels, I guess. Don't know. Is it Circle's birthday? I've just seen Happy Birthday Circle, says SLB51. Well, I'm not singing happy birthday to her. We don't want to celebrate the birth of that monstrosity, do we? That's for sure. Right, it's not a crawler. Well, it can't be a creepy crawler then. No, you're right, Mark, it can't. The Ugly Duckman's cracking, or quacking rather. Chaz Bellinger, nice to see you. There's a shout out for you. It'll be double the trouble for the Garrett. Yeah, exactly. It's effectively got 2 mechanisms, but they are wired together, so it's not too bad. Yes, I've got some tender-driven locos, but most of mine have been fitted with CD motors now, so they're a doddle to service. You don't have to bother with the motors. I'll DM you a video of my tender-driven Mallard on Twitter from the 80s, running for the first time since I bought it. It says Shutty Gaming 05. Yeah, I'd love to see that. Yes, please. Go ahead. Okay, folks, well, I think that is it. That is 5 locos, so we are done for the day. So I think we'll leave it there. I'll see you tomorrow, all being well, when I've got some more locos to show you. We've got some Lima to do tomorrow. I think that's probably more or less it. So we'll relax, we'll do some Limas. I will probably do something else as well. Wednesday, video as normal. And then Thursday, Friday, I'm going to try, again, assuming I've got time. I'm not going to schedule anything because I don't know what I'm going to be doing on Thursday. But Thursday, Friday, at the moment, I'm hoping to be able to do a bit of a restoration for you. of some lovely old locos that haven't run for probably 30 years, and I'm going to be trying to fix them where possible. I don't know if I'll be able to, I don't know if they're complete, but we'll be finding out Thursday, Friday, so stay tuned for that. Okay, well, thank you so much for your support, folks. Hope you enjoyed that. If you've got nothing else to do today because of what's happening, I hope that was some comfort for you. I hope that gave you something to do for an hour or so, and that's going to be the plan really for the next week or so. I'm going to try and have content every day for you so that there is something for you to watch. And there are a lot of other channels doing that as well, so be sure to check them out, and hopefully there'll be some good stuff for you, model train related. All right, let's have another look. Ninja Go Fan 3 says, don't leave. I've got to, man. I've got to go and do some other stuff now. I've got to edit today's video, for example, the one I filmed this morning. So yeah, work to be done, unfortunately, but hopefully you enjoyed that. Okay. Thank you for the stream, says Craig. Oh, no problem. Thank you for watching them. I really appreciate it. Carla Chiapim, I guess. Bye to you. TrainGeek06, aka Wheelie. See you. Polarized367. You take care of yourself as well. Happy Christmas, in fact. Yes, very well said. And I think that will do it. All right, folks. Take care of yourselves. Have a good day, and I will hopefully see you tomorrow. Same time, more or less. Okay. See you soon.